2021 Buffalo Bills season. The 2021 season is the Buffalo Bills' 62nd season as a franchise, 52nd in the National Football League, 7th full under the ownership of Terry and Kim Pegula, and their 5th under the head coach/general manager tandem of Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. The Bills will attempt to improve on their 13-3 record from the previous season, return to the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 years, and reach their first Super Bowl since 1993. On March 29, the Bills sold the naming rights to their stadium to Pittsburgh-based health insurance company Highmark. The stadium is now known as Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Stadium or simply Highmark Stadium. Draft notes: the Bills received a 5th-round selection from the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for wide receiver Zay Jones. The Bills got a conditional 7th-round selection from the Carolina Panthers in exchange for offensive tackle Marshall Newhouse. Staff, current roster. Preseason. The Bills' preseason schedule was announced on May 12. They opened the preseason with a 16-15 road win against the Detroit Lions. Regular season schedule. The Bills' 2021 schedule was announced on May 12. Notes: intra-division opponents are in bold text. Networks and times from weeks 14-18 are subject to change as a result of flexible scheduling. As the result of Saturday flexible scheduling during Week 15, the date, time, and network for that week's game vs. the Carolina Panthers will be finalized at a later date by no later than 4 weeks prior to game day. Week 18 is subject to being flexed to Saturday, January 8. Game summaries. Week 1 vs. Pittsburgh Steelers. Despite a 10-0 halftime lead and a strong performance from the Buffalo defense, the Bills' hopes for a 3rd straight Week 1 victory were dashed after Pittsburgh scored 20 unanswered points in the second half, including a blocked punt returned for a touchdown. The Bills were also hurt by several penalties throughout the game. With the loss, Buffalo began the season 0-1 for the first time since 2018. Week 2 at Miami Dolphins. Buffalo rebounded from its loss the prior week with the most dominant win over division rival Miami in franchise history. Despite another mediocre performance by quarterback Josh Allen, a strong performance from running backs Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, as well as the defense, allowed the Bills to win 35-0. Dolphins quarterbacks Tua Tagovailoa and Jacoby Brissett were sacked 6 times, with Tagovailoa leaving the game in the first quarter after a rib injury. Week 3 vs. Washington Football Team. Josh Allen and the Bills' passing game enjoyed a strong performance as Allen accounted for 5 total touchdowns and surpassed 300 passing yards for the first time in the season. Aside from a 73-yard scoring reception by running back Antonio Gibson and 2 scores from quarterback Taylor Heinicke set up by a Buffalo special teams gaffe and garbage time, respectively, Washington's offense struggled against the Bills' defense. With another win, Buffalo improved to 2-1. Week 4 vs. Houston Texans. Buffalo faced Houston for the first time since a 22-19 overtime loss in the 2019-20 NFL playoffs. Despite an early interception, Allen completed 2 touchdown passes to tight end Dawson Knox and led the Bills to 33 points before backup Mitchell Trubisky was substituted on in the 4th quarter. The Bills' defense limited the Texans' rookie quarterback Davis Mills, filling in for former Bills starter Tyrod Taylor, to just 87 passing yards and intercepted him 4 times. The Texans finished with just 109 total offensive yards. With the 40-0 victory, their second shootout win of the season, the Bills improved to 3-1. Week 5 at Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills returned to Arrowhead Stadium for a Sunday night rematch of the previous season's AFC Championship game, looking to avenge a 38-24 loss in that same season. The Bills had also lost in the regular season to Kansas City. In a game nationally anticipated, as a potential bellwether for AFC contention. The Bills scored 38 points, and they were dominant on both sides of the ball throughout the game. While Allen earned a 139.1 passer rating and threw for 315 yards, averaging 21 yards per pass completion. The Bills' defense sacked Patrick Mahomes twice and forced him into 3 turnovers, with one being returned for a touchdown. The game was affected greatly by weather conditions, as a rain delay extended halftime by over an hour, and by numerous penalties, as the two teams combined for 158 penalty yards. This was Buffalo's first win over Kansas City since 2017 and their first win with Mahomes as the Chiefs' starting quarterback. The win improved the Bills to 4-1. Week 6 at Tennessee Titans. The Bills attempted to avenge a 42-16 loss to the Titans from the previous season, which was rescheduled several times due to a COVID-19 outbreak in the Titans organization. In the final moments of a back-and-forth shootout on Monday Night Football, in which the lead changed 7 times, the Titans' defensive line stopped Josh Allen on a 4th-down quarterback sneak at the Tennessee 3-yard line, and Buffalo narrowly lost 34-31, falling to 4-2 ahead of its bye week. Week 8 vs. Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, who entered the game at 1-6, dominated the time of possession in the first half and limited Buffalo's offense to a field goal. However, they also squandered 2 scoring opportunities in the red zone, culminating in a 3-3 tie at halftime. The Bills would score 2 unanswered touchdowns to Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs after halftime, en route to a 26-11 win, their 7th straight over Miami. Week 9 at Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bills entered this game as 14.5-point favorites over the 1-6 Jacksonville Jaguars. Nevertheless, the game was a defensive struggle with neither team finding the end zone. Despite outgaining Jacksonville by 83 yards, the Bills lost the turnover battle 1-3, with all of their turnovers coming from quarterback Josh Allen, 2 interceptions, and a lost fumble. Allen was sacked 4 times for 35 yards, and Buffalo was penalized 12 times for 118 yards. After allowing field goals on each of their first 2 drives, the Jaguars' defense had their way with the Bills' offensive line, which was missing John Feliciano and Spencer Brown due to injury. Notably, Josh Allen's namesake on the Jaguars sacked, intercepted, and recovered a fumble from his Bills counterpart. Jacksonville pulled off one of the biggest upsets in NFL history, defeating the Bills 9-6 and winning their first game in North America since Week 1 of the 2020 season. With the stunning loss, Buffalo fell to 5-3, with their division lead over the New England Patriots shrinking to just half a game. Week 10 at New York Jets. Buffalo rebounded against the divisional rival New York Jets, scoring 6 touchdowns after being held out of the end zone the week prior, with 2 of those touchdowns accounted for by third-string running back Matt Breida. On defense, all 5 starting defensive backs for the Bills, namely Taron Johnson, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, Levi Wallace, and Jordan Poyer, recorded a turnover off the Jets' offense, stifling quarterback Mike White. With the 45-17 win, Buffalo improved to 6-3. Week 11 vs. Indianapolis Colts. Standings. Division. Conference.